Hi, my name is Kevin Thomas, W1DED, and this is Q5 Ham Radio. Today I'm joined by DD1LD, known to many of you for his XOTA CW operating as Luke. He's been active in contesting and DXing, but is especially well known for his outdoor portable activities. Luke is head of the Alpine Summits on the Air Association in Germany, a member of the German Amateur Radio Club chapter in Munich North, and right now he's taking on the worldwide Flora and Fauna 2025 marathon as a Go Green activator, combining low-impact travel, QRP and portable gear, and operating outdoors with an eye toward ecological awareness. And here's where I thank our community, guests and listeners who keep pointing me toward the most interesting operators. In this case, it was Brazzo E77DX who said, "You need to talk with Luke." I'm proud to have ICOM as a Q5 worldwide ham radio sponsor, connecting people, ideas, and radios across every band and border. Welcome, Dzianis. Thanks for joining me this morning.
Good morning, Gavin.
So, Dzianis, I got your name from E77DX Brazzo, and he sent me this somewhat emphatic email, "You've got to talk to Luke." So here we are. But I did some research on QRZ beyond what Brazzo had mentioned, and I'm really intrigued by your portable operations, particularly the Go Green part. So let's start there. What got you into portable ops?
I think the first step or the first point I started with portable operations was back in 2007. I started with Summits on the Air SOTA program. I like mountaineering, I like hiking, I like climbing, and additionally to that, second part of fun came in, and it was hamming from the mountains, right? So I just combined two my hobbies, and every hiking, every climbing now was complemented by ham radio activity, and I just had double of fun, right? So, and I think I climbed a lot of summits in the Alps around Munich and in Austria, but surely I pick up before only well-known summits or the summits I like the most, and having SOTA here. It's extended the number of summits and places I wanted to visit, because you're always trying to find another one, new one summit, and you've never been before, and try to go to climb, to hike, and then have some ham radio activity from that summit. Then other programs came in, like worldwide Flora Fauna, IOTA, POTA, Castles on the Air, COTA, we call it, some new ones like Mills on the Air, MOTA, and of course I wanted to try it all of them, right? So what is the most fun, where I do really like to operate from, and again, like started 2007, and now 2025, I'm always do activate something around the corner, or if we go on vacation with the family, so I take my tiny radio with me and have my fun with my family, right? So
you're wearing a sweatshirt with the term XOTA, XOTA on it. This is a new term for me. I didn't even realize that existed, to be honest, before I started researching you. But my understanding, that's an all-encompassing call out to any portable operation in all of the various things you just mentioned. Is that right?
Right. That's XOTA. It means X any on the air, right? So, I mean, there are some people who do really activate SOTA only, or people who activate POTA only, and there are a couple of people, maybe a dozen of people like me, who are enjoying activating everything, right? And this is a term, sort of umbrella term for all those programs like Summits on the Air, SOTA, like Parks on the Air, POTA, Flora Fauna, GMA, Global Mountain Award, and so on and so on. And we call it XOTA, right? So that means enjoy any program, existing program, and it goes under that umbrella called XOTA.
Well, I certainly appreciate the concept, and I love that you're sort of giving permission to people to do whatever portable operation exists. I know via POTA, which I got back into when I started getting on the air again, the people tend to stay in their lane, right? They do POTA or they do SOTA, But the idea that if you've run out of parks in your backyard, there probably are some locations that you go to with the other programs. So that's really impressive. So I want to work backwards a little bit. So you get into SOTA, you said 2006, 2007. When were you first licensed?
I licensed quite late, finally. I started with hamming in early days as a teenager. And then like every teenager in gaming came in and you spent more time on gaming than on your radio, right? So, and I come back to ham radio as I started my study at the Munich University of Technology. I discovered by accident they have a club station there, Delta Lima Zero TUM, and it was a kick for me to continue with my hobby I've already forgotten. And then I say, okay, if to get licensed, then now. So having said that, I think it was 2005 or something like that, or six. I got my German license in Munich.
So it sounds like you got into SOTA right away. And as I mentioned in the opener, you actually are leading the SOTA organization in your backyard. Tell me about that. How did you get into leadership within SOTA?
Well, we were one of the pioneers in SOTA in Germany. And SOTA in Germany started 2004, right? So there was a small steering committee or steering management team in Germany. And then there were some sort of, let's say, misconnection between SOTA MT and the German part. We got two associations here, one of the low mountains of Germany, and the second one is the Alpine Association in Germany. And the previous SOTA manager said he doesn't want to manage the association anymore. And he was looking for anyone, a young one guy, dynamic one, who is activating and who is willing to lead the association. And we came into talking about that, and I said, okay, look, I could take it and build the team from the scratch. And he said, well, okay, let's see what the SOTA management team does. They approved, everything went smoothly. And since 2007, I'm leading the German Alpine Association, SOTA associations. Last year, we celebrated 20 years of SOTA DL. It means 20 years of the Alpine Association in SOTA. And we've done a lot of cool things. And the first thing we said, okay, let's celebrate it, but let's celebrate SOTA a little bit differently. Let's activate so many summits in the Alps. And then we said, okay, let's activate so many references in the Alps, because we have SOTA references, we have Global Mountain Award references, we have a lot of Flora Fauna, we have POTA here, we have some castles of the years which are on the top of a mountain. And we decided, okay, let's celebrate it and activate so many references in the Alps as we can. And we have a small team of keen Alpine activators here. It's like about 10, 15 people. And we've done it. So we had our fun, and we made actually a sort of a worldwide record. That means the SOTA in Germany, in the Alpine, they have 10 regions, right? So, and we activated all regions, all Alpine regions in Germany from the east to the west within 1 day. That means one time slot for each region. And we needed to have 10 operators. One operator started, and after 1 hour, the next one, and the next one, the next one, and the next one. So it was fun. So that means any chaser could work SOTA in Alps within 1 day. And there are only 2 chasers who did manage that, right? So even they got some awards about it. It was really fun. I don't remember how many QSOs we have done. It's like 10,000 plus. So good teamwork, a lot of fun. Looking forward to have something like that in the future again.
That's very impressive. Luke, I want to hear more about your own personal experience. I mean, it seems as though you're a relatively serious climber, first of all. So I'm curious how arduous some of these hikes are, these climbs are, but also what are you using for equipment? And I'm presuming that's probably evolved since you got started, but what are you using for equipment now? And yeah, talk to me about the climbs that you're doing.
So I started climbing in the teenage years, and I climbed a lot of summits in the south of Germany and especially in Austria before I started with SOTA at all. And then I started with SOTA, and the first equipment, it was quite heavy, right? So I had my FT8 57 100-watt transceiver, heavy antenna, and we all needed to learn our lessons, right? I mean, I remember about those times as you started securing on 7032, and there were always 5 people constantly monitoring this frequency, and it was a contest between those chasers. Who is the first who can spot me after that, right? So it was fun. Nowadays, nobody is monitoring those frequencies anymore. Everybody is looking in the cluster, and you can, call for ages, and nobody come back to you. But as soon as you put your call in the cluster, you have a sort of mini pileup, right? And then I said, okay, the transceiver is too big. I needed to have something small. And there was an amazing one, a kit I bought from Steve KJ1, I guess. I don't remember the call anymore, called ATS3A. It's a small one transceiver, 5-watt transceiver in a very small, like a credit card format, right? Where if you want to change your bands, you need to to put one PCB and put another one PCB, and then operate on the frequency you put in. And it was ultra light. And then we got also LiPo batteries, and I compiled my station just under 1 kilogram, right? And with this small station, QRP station, I was more interested to climb higher summits, really where you need to climb solo or with your partner and ropes and so on and so on. And I've done a lot of cool activations here in Germany. They are first activations, and they remain only the activations I've done by myself. Some abroad activations were interesting. For example, I've run Fjell Raven run in Lapland, and during that run, I managed to activate the highest summit in Sweden with this many, small transceiver. It was an adventure for me, really. I can tell a story about that, but it was interesting. I made one day off, run to the summit solo in a full fog, and then activated the summit. Came back to the trail and finished my Fjell Raven trail after that. So I'm a little bit crazy about that stuff and trying to reach my boundaries, to test my boundaries, whatever the program I do activate within, right?
Well, certainly the way you're approaching it is a real commitment. How long were you out there on that particular run?
Oh, the run was like, there are some people who can finish the run, I guess, in 2 days or 3 days. They have ultra light stuff and running that. I don't remember how many days I did use for, but I said, okay, my target, my goal is to finish the run and then activate so many summits on the way as I could. And it was very amazing. I guess I activated 2 summits on the way. including the highest point in Sweden. And then after the run, I had some times and then back into the fjälls and activated 2 additional summits and then came back. So it was really amazing part of my SOTA activity in Lapland.
So you'd mentioned earlier that you've combined 2 loves, the love of climbing and ham radio. Are you into it for the physical activity or being in nature? I mean, what are the factors that make you want to climb, for example?
Well. It's a very good question because we're always talking about that within our SOTA DL group. So there are some people who say, I do SOTA because I want to do some exercise or I want to do some movement. I want to stay healthy. And the radio is just a complementary part for me. And we have some people who are opposite on that, and they say, okay, I wanna have my pile up. I like hamming in the nature, and I use SOTA as sort of, excuse to get out and take my radio with me. So those people can activate, of course, POTA or Flora and Fauna, but SOTA is a little bit special. So what about me? I guess I started more on the climbing side because I came from the climbing side and hiking side. I love mountains. I love my Alps around the corner. And as I say, the ham radio just allowed me to extend the number of summits. I never thought about that, but I climbed it because of SOTA. And there are some dangerous difficult summits, and I never would have climbed them because there is no need for, right? So you see in the name and say, okay, there is no trail. I don't want to go there. But if a summit has a reference, a software reference, you never activated before, you are instantly looking for those summits and say, yeah, what about that one? I never been there. Let's try. I mean, it's complicated. You need probably to climb on a difficulty level of 5 or 6, and you're constantly looking for a partner who can come with you. Then it's a little bit different story here, right? And actually, I have some good partners here we do climbing with, but they are not hams, right? So if you're on the summit, they always say, hey, now you have to, to finish your operation within 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and then let's go down. Having said that, I think I started from the climbing, hiking side, and now I'm a little bit biased towards hamming from the top. I love mountain runs. That means if you get out and try to reach so many summits or activate as many summits as possible. Now I'm a little bit quiet. If I go to a summit, I try to stay longer and operate longer, and try to collect 100 plus QSOs from a summit. It's like a enjoyment of both sides, great use, sport activity, and of course, ham radio.
So, Luke, what advice would you have for somebody who wanted to get into SOTA? I know you mentioned earlier that your gear has evolved over time, and it kind of made me recall doing a couple POTA activations that were on summits, and at the time, all I had was a TS480, but I carried a lot of gear up, and they're relatively, moderate climbs. But when you get a heavy backpack with a TS480 and a battery and an antenna that's too big, it sort of discouraged me from wanting to do it again. So tell me what you would tell a brand new SOTA operator. Where should they begin?
Oh, yeah. I think there's a quite difference if you start with SOTA now and and if you would have started with SOTA 25 years ago. A lot of transceivers became available, a lot of QRP parts are available, a lot of antennas, a lot of support. I mean, if you take a look at the SOTA reflector, you will find a lot of information there where people exchange what antenna, what batteries, what transceivers, and so on and so on. I would say the trend I see at some newcomers, they think too much about it. They prepare them too much for for this first SOTA activation, and they compile their backpack, and they put a lot of transceiver, and sometimes they put two transceivers because one might not work. I need to have the second one. Some of them take two antennas with them. They overcomplicate those things in my eyes. I would suggest don't spend too much time on thinking what's the best transceiver for SOTA and what's the best antenna for SOTA. Just take whatever you have, put it in your backpack, and go and activate and have fun. And then after 10, 20, 100 activations, you will know exactly what you're looking for and what are your needs. Do you want to have 4 QSOs only to check in the summit, or you want to have some fun and collect 100, 200 QSOs from a summit? So it depends on your internal objectives, right? So I would say go out, have fun with your radio, whatever you have for now, and then you will your equipment will evolve with the time, like with your experience.
I think that's great advice. I mean, I've been following this mantra forever in all aspects of my life. Just start from where you are and don't overcomplicate it. So I'm really glad you said that. One of the things that I read, Luke, was that you're into the worldwide Flora and Fauna marathon. And I've got to be honest, I don't know much about that either. So tell me what that looks like.
The problem is, I started with SOTA, and I activated almost all summits around the Munich. There are some remaining, and I will definitely take time for them. And the problem for me became that I needed to go farther and farther to activate a new summit. All the programs, they have a sort of goal to activate as many new summits, as many uniques as you want. And if you activate your 10, 20 sounds around you, you need to go farther and farther and farther. And I said, okay, I don't want to spend 2 hours in my car on the way to the summit, and then 2.5 or 3 hours in the traffic jam. And I was looking, hey, is there anything else I can participate in, and maybe with less effort, and just after work? And I discovered Flora Fauna for me, because we have a lot of Flora Fauna areas here around Munich. I said, okay, nice. Flora Fauna in POTA, they are heavy about going there by your car and operating from the car, then you jump around to the second park and activate the second park. I say, okay, I can do that, but it's not really exciting. And I said, okay, let's activate all Flora Fauna areas by bike, or let's take a bus and drive the bus as much as I can, and the rest can be made by bike or walking. And in that area, the idea of Go Green XOTA has been born, right? So I said, okay, let's activate all the references here by bike or by walking, by public transportation, but let's leave my car at home at all, right? So. And then I started with Flora Fauna, because I had a lot of parks here, and then I had a similar situation. If you want to activate a unique park, you need to go farther. I mean, the next park I now activated is probably 100 kilometers away from here. It's not easy to make it by bike. But anyway, I get hooked by Flora Fauna because I love those pileups in Flora Fauna. As soon as you start secure, and the right time and the right band, you have a real pileup, mini pileup, and I really enjoy that. And I say, okay, I like it, definitely. how can I participate in that in a more systematic way, right? And this year, Worldwide Flora Fauna announced Flora Fauna Marathon. That means for activators and for the chasers, of course. And I do participate as an activator. The clue here is that you need to activate at least one park per month. It can be a park around the corner. You can activate the same park 12 times a year or 20 times a year, and so on and so on. And I say, okay, it's a good motivation for me to get out and activate at least one park a month, but it never worked for me because I said it's not enough. So I try to activate a couple of parks a month, and if I'm on vacation, trying to activate the local parks as well. And if I do combine Flora Fauna with POTA, what is possible from time to time, you have a really huge pile up. So there are some activations where you came out close to 300 QSOs, or even after work activation can result in 100 plus QSOs on all bands. This is really like marathon. It's just motivating me to do what I have done before in more systematic way. I know I will never win or lead the rankings there because I have no time for. There's some people, just going by a mobile home from one park to another one and collecting all of them. But it's definitely a good thing to keep you moving, to stay healthy and operate on a fresh air and have a lot of fun.
Luke, I'm really intrigued by the go green aspect that you mentioned, and again, I read about this in preparation for this conversation. I know within POTA, people do drive from park to park, and they have their setup in the car, and I certainly value that, and I'm glad that they're doing that. But it is a totally different experience when you get there and hike a little ways and set up on a picnic table or do whatever. Do you find that the go green movement within ZOTA is increasing substantially?
Well, it's a very good question. I mean, the idea of go green has been born. I think I started with that even earlier, but the urgency came out because of Corona or COVID in Germany. So we have a local law laws, and those laws say if you want to do some exercise outside, outdoors, you're not allowed to go more than 100 kilometers. I don't remember what exactly it was. Like, hey, it's okay if I run around my house or around my village or around my city, but I'm not allowed to go and activate some mountains which are 100 or 200 kilometers away. And I say, well, cool. I mean, let's take a look what I have here around. And then I found there are some local hills, which are not SOTA hills, but I mean, it's okay if you go there and you need 1 hour or 30 minutes to reach them, or you have some castles around here, right? So, and then you said, okay, let's go by bike, let's walk, let's do some exercise, let's get out with my dog and activate something. And the idea was like that born. And then I talked to many people about that. The problem with SOTA is that a lot of people do really activate SOTA in a green way. They use public transportation, or a lot of people do activate SOTA by bikes, especially in Europe. The problem is that the SOTA didn't incorporate the Go Green bonus, I would say bonus, in their scoring system, right? So that means it doesn't matter if you go by car or by bike or by jet, right? If you reach the summit by helicopter, you will get the same amount of points, right? And it's unlikely that something will be changed in SOTA. I mean, we lost all the hopes that it will change anything. But I had some talks to Flora Fauna people, and I had some talks with GMA people. Everybody liked the idea, but nobody was really, let's say, ready to implement that sort of innovative idea. in their system. I mean, if you take a look at the Flora Fauna POTA, it doesn't matter how do you activate the summit. You can drive into a nature reserve with a tank, right? So build a huge antenna and use the very loud and stinky generator to get your power out of that. Nobody cares about that. The number of QSOs and activation just count. And we said, no. We want to change a little bit the game here and be a little bit more conscious about that. Firstly, it's about about me, myself. I mean, I do exercise. I want to move. I want to get out. And the second one, of course, is the program itself, right? And then we said, what can we do about that? I mean, we tried and thought, but people said, cool. Some people said it will never fly. Who will do that? And so on and so on. And then I had a good conversation with the GMA, Global Mountain Award folks, especially with Mario, Delta Lima 4, Mike, Fox Mike. And he liked the idea. And then we said, okay, let's have a sort of small steering committee, or let's say small steering team, and try with that, right? Try to implement that idea on the GMA server, and then let's see how does it go. It was 2020, and now 2025. Go Green is alive, and always new people are coming and coming. The problem with Go Green is that if you do activate SOTA or POTA or Flora Fauna Go Green, you have to submit your log to the GMA server to get credit for, right? So that means actually you have to submit 2 different logs to get credit for. Some people do that who are really interested in Go Green, and there are some people who do activations only Go Green, like they go by public transportation. They have no cars at all, and they do that. And so, but people say, okay, it's I need to submit 2 logs. I don't have time. I really don't like it, and so on and so on. And especially POTA people. I mean, we have a lot of newcomers here in Germany. POTA is booming currently in Germany, and all the young people, they're interested in that, and a lot of them do activations really by bike. Like after work party, I just go to my local park or drive to my local park by bike in 10 minutes. I'm there, and I do operate for 30 minutes, and then I go by bike home. And they do submit their logs for POTA, but not many do submit their logs for Go Green yet. I just hope they will do sooner or later, or we'll have more people who do that, right? So this is the problem here, that if you take each of these XOTA program, nobody gives you any extra bonus for going Go Green. But if you use GMA as a sort of umbrella for your XOTA activities, you can say claim your Operation Go Green, and you will get Go Green points. You can collect Go Green clovers. You can collect your Paramount activation. It's really very broad, and it's really Go Green. It's not like it's not yet another one outdoor award, a hamradio award. It's a sort of umbrella for all XOTA programs where the focus is on the Go Green aspect, right? So, and it doesn't mean like, hey, we are only for all green and the operation should start at home and finish at home. You can go for vacation on an island, for example, and stay there for 2 weeks and activate all the references around the island by bike or walking around. It's allowed, and claim all the points, right? So, and I've done some crazy activations even by my sub. I activated some IOTA starting from one island, then landed at another one island, then made an activation, SOTA activation at that island, and back to with the sub to the big island. So you can shape, you can put your own challenges, whatever you want. It just, it doesn't limit you at all. It just gives you a sort of guidance. How can you think a little bit different about, all these POTA and Flora Fauna, big heavy activations you've done before?
Well, I would say don't lose the faith, because I think that you're onto something here. And I think the more you keep talking it up, I do think that there's an opportunity for all the programs maybe to pick it up somewhat like an overlay, like in contesting, that you can do a tri-band or wire overlay, and I could see Go Green being an overlay. But I'm impressed by that, and I actually think it adds another layer of fun to doing POTA activations when I think about it through that lens. So one of the questions, Luke, I want to ask you before we wrap up, you obviously are spending a lot of time outdoors with ZOTA. Do you operate indoors very much?
Oh yes, I do. I'm keen SOTA activator, so I'm really spending a lot of time in that, and I don't have any time for hunting SOTA. It's a little bit unusual. Usually people do both. They do activate and they do chase SOTA, and they collect so-called completes. They are mountains. I activated and I chased. I have no time for that, to be honest. I can't spend the whole time for the in the front of my transceiver. But I started to collect POTA. It just came by an accident, right? So, I mean, if I have some time, I go down to my basement and I do the first cluster I do take a look at is POTA and Flora Fauna. The reason for that is sometimes I do really understand. I mean, sometimes I had some difficulties to collect my 44 QSOs for Flora Fauna with the QRP station. Just imagine you're somewhere in the middle of the forest. You still have a good antenna, but you have 4 or 5 watts, and you can't come out very good from a forest with 4 or 5 watts. And the time is bad, and you're collecting your QSOs, 10 QSOs, 20 QSOs, 1 hour, and you're still not done, right? And I said, okay, there's people like me, they get out and do really activate something with a low power QRP, and they are happy to have a little bit more QSOs. I mean, in case of SOTA, it's pretty easy to get 4 QSOs. You can get it in FM usually. But like Flora Fauna, you need to collect 44, and for quota cousins of the year, you need to collect 50 QSOs. So I decided, okay, let's support those people. But it took me in, and I'm trying to work as many people as I can. And if you take a look at POTA has a special, I would say, special statement or special interest here in Europe, because POTA is very popular in US. And for me, it's combined with the Xing as well. If I do work US POTA stations, I'm so happy about that, especially if I don't have a big antenna in my home. It's just basic dipole and 100 watts. But all the people I can reach, it make me happy. I mean, I gave them a QSO, I gave them a DX, and I worked the X and I supported them. So this is a sort of win-win situation and fun for everybody. Having said that, I do chase as much as I can, but usually it's limited to Flora, Fauna, and POTA for time being.
So, Luke, one of the things that strikes me in talking to you is that you're competitive. I mean, whether it be your climbing or your collecting stats, has contesting ever interested you?
Oh yeah, actually I came from the contesting area, so I started my heavy contesting in 2007, 2008, and I was one of the operator within big ones like Delta Queen 4 Whiskey or Delta Lima 1 Alpha. My mentor was Delta Lima 6 Romeo Alpha India, a very well-known contester. Brazzo is another one, we know from Bavarian Contest Club. So actually, I came from the contesting corner. And it always, I always have this line with me, or I follow this contesting line with me if I do activate some flora, fauna, and POTA. Usually I'm quite quick and doing in a high speed, especially in CW. Sometimes I do try some crazy stuff. Like I don't know if there are many people who tried single operator or two radios for a POTA operation or flora fauna. I tried that a couple of months ago. I wasn't happy about that, to be honest. POTA and flora fauna, they are not ready for single operator or two radios at all. So I had some troubles with some chasers. They don't understand that I was operating two radios, especially POTA cluster. If you operate two frequency bands and two different modes, right, it always show you on only one mode and only one frequency. And people will say, what the hell is going on? He was on FT8 and now he is on CW, or oh, he's on 1840 doing CW and SSB. So this is something what I take, or I took with me on the contesting. The problem with the contesting for me is that the big stations they have gone. I mean, Delta Queen for Whiskey is not there anymore. Delta Lima 1 Alpha is off for years. It's difficult to find a big station here to do contesting. There are some opportunities, but you need to drive, you need to go, and so on and so on. And in the early days, as a single person and as a student, you have a lot of time, right? So, and now with the family and all the work, QRL, so you're probably looking for some other opportunities to spend your time in a more efficient way. And exactly for that reason, I do really go out and do flora fauna in a sort of contesting operation mode. Not really like 599, thank you, but if you know some people, you can say hello and have a small chat. But usually it's not like a conversation, and I never will be happy with 10 QSOs only. I'm trying to get as much people as possible. It's a sort of combination for me, DXing and contesting in the nature, right?
So clearly you stay in shape, you like to be active, you're climbing, you're talking about biking. How do you square that with contesting where you're sitting on a chair inside for hours at a time?
Yeah, I did it. I did it completely. I mean, if you are contesting in a team, it's for 48 hours. Just contest, sleep, eat, and contest. I've done it in the past, but for time, I mean, if I do contesting from home, it's a little pistol station, right? So. And I can't do it for 1-2 hours, and then I'm getting bored, right? So it's not high power. I can't get my rate. If I wanna work at the X, you need to wait, until big ones do work, and so on and so on. So for that reason, I do get out, and I did participate in some contests from outside. Like you can go in the flora fauna area and do some contesting there, or POTA around the corner and do some digs in there. I'm not probably not the person. I mean, maybe in a couple of years I'm back and I want to spend 24 hours in my basement and doing some contests. Or if I do run a big station and the excitement is there, I can stay for ages and operate for hours. But I think if you if you talk about a contest, the thing I do like the most is the pile-up. I mean, I enjoy pile-up. I mean, as many stations as I can, I do love it. And since I don't get this pile-up from my home with my very tiny stations, I'm trying to get this pile-up outside, right? And that is the reason that if I do go green flora fauna and go green POTA, and in many cases I take my 100-watt station with me. I mean, it's a little bit overhaul, but I mean, I have my bike, I park everything on my bike, and I have my 100-watt, I have a big accumulator, like 50 amps. And then I have my 100-watt out of that, and if the band is open, especially 10 or 15 meters to US, it's just fun. I love it. I love it.
Well, Luke, I really appreciate you taking the time today. You've given me a great appreciation for operating outside, and I want to dust off my POTA gear and get back out there after talking to you today.
Yeah, Kevin, I just, appeal to everybody who never tried it. Any XOTA program is exciting. Any XOTA program has some shortcomings and some positive sides. I mean, I probably never found a program I like or I love in all the aspects. I mean, if you talk about SOTA, Flora, Fauna, or POTA, there's some points I do really like and love, and there's some points I don't really understand, but I have to accept it. But if you take those SOTA programs and try to shape, or use the rules of this program to shape them towards your goals. In my case, I get out, have fun. I do operate with family. I take my boys with me, and I started to operate. I mean, just to give you some crazy example here. I never tried to activate lights on the air, right? So I mean, the lights on the air. I was like, I don't understand it. Why should I do that? That the game changed completely last year in Croatia. We were on vacation and I activated whatever is available on that island. And my youngest say, "Papa, I love lights. Let's go around the corner, around the island, and collect all the light towers." I said, "Well, let's do that." And we were, every light tower, every light he found on that island, I tried to activate in CW or FT8. And I'm not going to be a fan of FT8, never ever. But my oldest one, he likes FT8. So now I have two boys. One likes light towers. The second one likes operating FT8 with his 9 years old. And I said, okay, let's activate lights in the air. And I've done it. And those are, have been submitted to the GMA server and you get some points, right? They're sort of GMA triathlon where you need to collect different references and collect the points. If you collect enough points, you will get different status like bronze, gold, silver, and then now I reached the activator of the. It's called like mega activator, and if you activate a lot of things. So anyway, I mean, lights on the air. I said never ever, but the life is interesting, and sometimes you change your opinion. And you start something crazy about it. So what I wanted to say then that any outdoor ham radio operation is fun. I mean, you can get out of that what you want, right? So you can go for for more access, more movement, more fresh air. You can go for more QSOs. You can say, okay, I want to activate 10 parks a day. You can do it by bike. You can do it by car if you want. It's fun. Whatever is outside to activate, just try it and build your own opinion before you start, telling me, hey, it doesn't make any fun, or POTA is better than Flora Fauna, or SOTA is the best in the world. So I tried them all. And I pick up for me some programs I enjoy the most, but all of them are fun. Operating outside is fun. Just go out, take your radio with you, spend a couple of minutes outside, enjoy the life, enjoy the operating, enjoy the ham radio.
Dzianis, that's great advice. And I appreciate your enthusiasm. And I've got to say, I really appreciate the role model you're setting for your kids. I mean, I talk to a lot of older hams that are crediting today their fathers were getting them into ham radio. So it's great to see somebody at your age getting your own kids interested in kind of taking their lead. But thank you for all this today.
Just to finish that about the kids, Kevin, I started learning CW quite late. I was 20 plus, right? So, and I decided to get a chance to my kids to learn CW in an early stage, because I said, take a look at those programs. I mean, CW is very popular in SOTA. SOTA is predestinated for CW. What I see in Flora, Fauna, and POTA, that SSB is coming, and FT8 is a lot of activity in FT8, right? So many people do FT8 only, but no SSB, and that's CW. And I love CW, and said, okay, let's give my kids a chance to learn CW. And now imagine, I started with the oldest one. He was 8 years old. So, and he can do CW. My son, 8 years old, can really do CW and very well. And the youngest one, he was observing us and say, Papa, it doesn't work like that. I want to do it with you as well. I said, no, you're too young for. And he said, no, I want to do it because the oldest does. And now look, he just went into the school. The youngest one, he can't read yet, but he can CW. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And my appeal to you guys, if you spend time with your kids, sometimes it's not easy to start with, but as soon as they see the progress, so it will work. And now, I mean, I take my kids as much as I can, and we do really learn CW as much as we can, and I see a lot of progress with. So let's hope that those kids, my kids, will be activators, crazy activators like me. Hear you on the bands.
My name is Kevin Thomas, W1DED. This has been Q5 Ham Radio. I've been talking to Dzianis, DD1LD. I really appreciate the leadership that he's providing in ham radio, not only for the larger community, but even for his kids. I think you'll continue to find him out in ZOTA, pushing the limits, whether it be climbing summits, biking to a reference, or maybe even trying SO2R at a POTA activation, which fascinates me. Dzianis, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Kevin, for having me.